You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes!
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW.
You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Do you want that real sports talk? Unfiltered, unsanitized? Well, you have found it. This is a revolution in radio. The realest, trillest sports talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show. This is sports talk for the people. Yeah! What's happening? Thank you for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. A lot of great things to get into. Obviously, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs, the Cleveland Cavaliers advance. But first, we got to bring it back. Ho-ho! Yes, sir! This is a Wild Out Wednesday. And oh boy! May 27th, 2015. Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for tuning in. And, and so it happens. So it goes down. So it continues. LeBron versus Jordan. LeBron versus Jordan. Oh. All right, man. Thank you for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show today. And as you can see from the title of the show, we are going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers advancing, the Atlanta Hawks getting swept, punk-ass Dellavedova. I mean, there's a lot of great things we're going to get into. You being a sports fan, you being a basketball fan, you're going to love today's show. We do birthdays, we have fun, we laugh, we do all of this stuff. You can be totally interactive, and that's by following the show on Spreaker.com. Hit the little follow button on Spreaker.com and follow the Doug Stewart Show, and then you can be interactive by jumping in the chat room All right? And you're kind of like my co-host and my wingman. Or wing ladies. We do have ladies that listen to the show. And so if you're new to the Doug Stewart Show, if this is your first day, man, thank you for joining me. We have fun every day, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We mainly talk sports, but it's really a guy talk show. Whatever's going on in the world of sports, entertainment, beyond hip-hop culture, pop culture, whatever. We talk about it on this show and have a good time doing it. All right, the number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Today is a Wild Out Wednesday. And before I even get into this LeBron MJ stuff, because if you've been under a rock, that's what's been going on over the last 12 hours. LeBron James goes to his 5th NBA Finals in a row. Congratulations to him. I mean, I guess the Baller Award is in order, right? I mean, that's in order, right? So we're going to delve into that LeBron, how great he is conversation all day long. For some reason, over the last 12 hours as well, there's been this conversation between who is the better player or who was the better player or who's the best player of all time in LeBron James versus MJ. We're going to get into that. But first, man, let me quickly address one situation, and then I'll move on. I'll try not to stay with it the entire show, but I have to address it. It's just on my heart. It's on my heart right now. And that is that punk-ass Matthew Dellavedova. You know, and I did a show a couple of weeks ago, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I did a show a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about the top 5 guys in sports that you hate. And it all stemmed from that I Hate Christian Layton at 30 for 30 episode on the Puppet Factory. And I think at the time, the guy that I had number 1 on my list, I think at the time was Danny Ainge. Let me say today, on May 27th, 2015, I have found a person in sports that has supplanted Danny Ainge as the most hated guy in my mind of all times, and that is punk-ass Matthew Dellavedova. And if you follow me on Twitter, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you follow me on Twitter, and I'm trying to stay calm, I said I wasn't going to have one of those episodes where I go off and I get my blood pressure up. I said I wouldn't do that, all right? So I'm not going to do that. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw that I tweeted out last night, and you can follow me on Twitter at thedougstewartshow.com or at the Doug Stewart Show. I tweeted out after the first half that LeBron's talking ish, or it was probably like the end of the third period. LeBron's talking ish. The Hawks about to get swept. My show's based here in Atlanta, Georgia, for people that don't know that are listening for the first time. Been here in Atlanta for over 20 years. Hawks are about to get swept. Punk-ass Dellavedova is getting under Ninja's skin. And don't be surprised, and actually it was at halftime, don't be surprised if there's a fight that happens in the second half. Because this dude was riding Jeff Teague like a cowboy last night. All right, stop. Back up for a second. And just breathe, Dougie. And the entire time I'm watching this guy, all I could think is, if he was on the playground, he'd be getting his ass kicked right now. That's all I kept thinking. That's all I kept thinking. I was like, you lucky son of a bitch. You lucky that we have this organized game of basketball and that they have these referees and that all these cameras out here and people don't want to get in trouble, because if this was on the playground, and I know it's not on the playground, and I know it might be kind of childish of me taking this view of the whole situation, but he was riding Jeff Teague last night like a freaking cowboy. And oh boy, he has supplanted Danny Ainge, in my mind, as the most hated guy in the history of sports, per me, per me. Oh, I can't stand that Matthew Dellavedova. I can't stand him. I can't stand him. Oh, I can't stand him. I can't stand him. Quick. Calm down, Dougie. Breathe. Breathe, ninja. Okay. Get it together. Let's go. Get it together. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm fine. I got that off my chest. I'm going to move on. So there's been a lot of talk, man, about LeBron James and where he stands in the list of greatest players of all times. I don't know where it came from. He's still got a lot of career to go. But we can talk about it. If you know me, I've come full circle on this guy. I was a LeBron James fan. I thought that the guy had all of the makings to be one of the greatest players of all times. And then when he did that thing where he went down to Miami and we're not going to win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings, and he teamed up with Dwayne Wade and a great Miami Heat team, I thought it was real lame. I thought it was real weak. But since he's come back and he's gone back to his hometown of Cleveland and he wrote the letter and he talked about all of the reasons why he's going back to Cleveland, I became a fan again and I started to appreciate the guy's talent, so I'm back on board. I'm back a fan of the guy. So now the question is coming up with him going to his 5th NBA Finals. Is LeBron James the greatest basketball player of all times? I want to get your thoughts on that. All right, and you know the deal, and what I'm going to do all throughout today's show is give you some of the little stats and some of the little comparisons that I found on Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I also bring up some other things that you should consider in this conversation. I think it's a conversation. I think it's actually a conversation. A couple of years ago, I never thought it was even a conversation, but when you factor in all of the variables, when you factor in what this guy has done, the present state of basketball, athleticism, awards, honors, championships, all of the immeasurables, anything that you can add into the equation, I don't think it's foolish anymore, okay? I don't necessarily think it's foolish. At one time, I thought it was absolutely foolish. I thought it was blasphemy to even mention LeBron James and Michael Jordan in the same sentence. I'm not going to go that far now. I think that we can have a small discussion on it. So I want to get your thoughts on that, man. Hit me on the Spreaker chat on Spreaker.com, The Doug Stewart Show. And what are your thoughts? I refuse to say the word King James, even though I just did. But, I mean, hey, I'm a grown-up. The kid's pretty good. And it's almost like that Captain Obvious commercial on Hotels.com. LeBron James is pretty good. Where do the Atlanta Hawks go from here? LeBron versus MJ. Everybody's missing in this LeBron versus MJ conversation. Cleveland, Golden State, you know what's going to happen. What are your thoughts on that? We'll get into that a little bit later. We do birthdays. We have fun. We take calls. We read a lot of chat on the Doug Stewart Show. And today, man, the definitive show on LeBron James, all right? Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, Call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I'd been talking about red rice and frogmore stew. Another one on the list, on number 13 on this list, is peanuts taste better boiled. Yes. And as God is my witness, my wife did not know people boiled peanuts and ate them. She did not. My wife's from Ohio. And yes, boiled peanuts, if cooked right, are the bomb.
Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
All right, so I got to clear something up. and I don't even know why anybody's mind would even work like this, but evidently it's becoming a topic of conversation. In the last segment, I was talking about boiled peanuts, okay, that come from out of the ground, not boiled peanuts. And so, evidently there's some talk in the chat room about Doug talking about boiled man parts. No, peanuts. I'm trying to say it as slow as I can. Peanuts, okay? What is it, P-E-A-N-U-T-S? Peanuts. No, man, not boiled peanuts. Come on, man. And I see Vern in here. Damn you, Vern. Ugh. Y'all know what the hell I was saying. This is the Doug Stewart Show. This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the number one thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5electronicsinc.com. That's System5electronicsinc.com. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Supposed to be here in the playground in the background from ABC. You know what I meant about it. Thank you so much for joining me on the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Wild Out Wednesday, and talking about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. What are your thoughts? And like I said in the first segment, I would have never even entertained this conversation a couple of years ago, and when that type of stuff came up, and LeBron hadn't won any rings or anything yet in Miami, and then they lost in the NBA Finals to the Dallas Mavericks, I started saying, that stuff is just ridiculous, man. Just stop it. Just stop it. It's just so ridiculous. But now if you look at LeBron James going to his 5th NBA Finals, Michael Jordan has 6 rings. LeBron James has 2. And so easily, I think that the LeBron James fans will say, well, he still has time to go, and it's a different era, and he didn't have the great teams. He didn't have Scottie Pippen like Michael Jordan did. And so LeBron James should be elevated to that level and even more. But then the Michael Jordan fans will just simply say, well, Michael Jordan has 6 rings. I mean, end the conversation. It's as simple as that. I've never said that rings are the end-all as far as evaluating players and doing the comparisons from one player to another. I've never, ever thought that before in my life because, you do have players. You do have a team. It's not just a one-person thing. Michael Jordan didn't win those rings by himself, but it is a big factor. It is a big factor in finishing the drill and getting a championship. LeBron James has 2, and Michael Jordan has 6. That says a lot. That says a lot. And there's a couple other guys in the conversation as well as being the greatest players ever and how many rings they have. But if you look at the entirety of the situation, okay, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, if you look at LeBron James and just his stature, the fact that the guy's, 6'8", something like that, 250, 60 pounds, he's a freaking bull. All right, so physically, there's probably never been another player like LeBron James with that size, that speed, that agility, and that skill set. There's probably never been a player like that. So he's kind of like an anomaly. He's like in a category all by himself, really. And I've been saying this for a long, long time, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. LeBron James is really kind of like a hybrid of Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, whereas he has the skills of a Michael Jordan, but he's also a floor general like Magic Johnson. And he distributes the basketball, and he makes everybody around him good, kind of like the way that Magic did. And Jordan made people around him and his teammates better as well. But I'm almost willing to give the edge as far as making his teammates better. I'm almost willing, and I think I might be at the point right now of giving the edge slightly to LeBron James. I am. And the reason why I say that, if you look at what happened with Cleveland when LeBron James left and went to Miami, they won freaking 19 games. The year before they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I think they lost at that year to Boston, I'm pretty sure. They lost to Boston. That was the game where LeBron pulled off his jersey walking into the locker room. They made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. They won 61 games that year. And then the first year that he was gone, they won 19. Okay? So fast forward, he has the many years down in Miami, and he comes back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. His first year back. Now, they do get a couple of pieces, a couple of good pieces, obviously, and Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith. But those guys really weren't, they weren't looked at and viewed as the great players and the top echelon player in the NBA before they got to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just keeping it real here. So they get Timothy Mozgov, and they get Shumpert, and they get J.R. Smith, and they go from last year winning 33 games to this year winning 53 games. So does LeBron James mean that you win 20 more games? 20 more games, that's a lot. That's a lot. And they do have Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. The maturity is starting to come into play, so he's a little bit older, a year older. I get all of that. But 20 games from a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year, now going to the Eastern Conference Finals? Remember, when Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, when he had that 1 or 2 years, the Bulls still made it far deep into the playoffs. And I believe they actually made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and losing to the Knicks or to the Pacers. I'm sorry I don't have that information in front of me right now. You remember that. They didn't really lose that much of a step. Now, they had great players. They had Scottie Pippen. They had Tony Kukoc. They had great players. But in relative terms, they really didn't skip that much of a beat. They missed the finals. They didn't win a ring. But they weren't shabby. When LeBron leaves your team, your ass don't make the playoffs. I mean, let's be honest about this. He left Cleveland. They didn't make the playoffs a damn year. When he went to Miami, they instantly were in the NBA Finals. When he left Miami, Miami didn't make it to the playoffs. When he comes back to Cleveland, Cleveland's in the NBA Finals. I don't know. It's just simple math to me. And I think at some point, man, we got to start talking about this kid as being one of the top, 3, 4 basketball players of all times. I mean, seriously, man, it's unbelievable. The skill set is unbelievable. The dude in 2015, I believe at the end of last night's game, I think he was still averaging. He might have fallen under a triple-double for the series. I mean, the dude almost averaged a triple-double in the series. Now, everybody talks about Oscar Robertson, who I did not see play, averaging a triple-double for an entire season. But let's be honest. The competition when Oscar Robertson played and those guys played back during the 60s is not what it is today. I mean, no disrespect to the old guys and to the Russells of the world, but it's just not what it is now. Athletically, these players are far superior. They're bigger, they're stronger, and they're faster than they were back during that era of basketball. Let's just be honest about this. And I mean, what you're seeing today, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, what you're seeing today and hearing today is all out honesty from me, from a guy that hated the ground that LeBron James walked on for a couple of years. Okay? But, once again, and it is a common theme to me in the Doug Stewart Show, is I keeps it real. It's as simple as that. All right? And I give credit where credit is due. This kid, man, is the real deal. I mean, he's the real deal. What are your thoughts on him? Have your mind changed about LeBron James? Who are you taking? Here's the Dougie Daily question in a nutshell. If you had your choice, okay, if you had your choice, who are you taking at the height of their career? In the prime of their career, who are you taking? And for this conversation, we're going to keep it to 2 players. Are you taking LeBron James or are you taking Michael Jordan? Forget the rings, forget their accomplishments. You're on the playground, and the playground is like the key word for today. You're on the playground, and LeBron James, 2 years ago, and Michael Jordan, I'll say after his 2nd ring, or Michael Jordan after his 3rd ring. Which one of them are you taking? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com from Gridiron Assassin on Spreaker.com. And thank you for all of the post I see in Spreaker.com. And once again, let me say this for the record. I feel like that I'm almost in the realm of blasphemy, but I'm not like I was a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, I think this conversation was ridiculous. And yes, 6 rings are better than 2. That's easy math. But look deeper than that. Okay, look deeper than that. We're talking about actual players. We aren't talking about teams. We're talking about the player. Who would you take? That's just a question I'm floating out there to the Stewies, to the dogs, and to the poodles. All right? I mean, seriously, let's be adults about this thing. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Let's be adults about this thing. LeBron James at his peak or Michael Jordan at his peak. I don't think it's crazy anymore. And I've come, full circle once again. Or actually a 180 on this LeBron James thing. The man is truly great. I mean, there's no getting around it. All right, I promise when we get back, and I started to read chat just now, when I get back, all I'm going to do is read chat. Quickly, I want to give a little bit of conversation to the Atlanta Hawks. And where do they go from here? We are in the ATL. But last night was embarrassing. The series was embarrassing. They fought really hard in Game 3. But injuries and just bad breaks just went against them. No pun intended. And so when we get back, I'm going to briefly and quickly talk about where the Atlanta Hawks go from here. And then I'm going to read chat. That's what we're going to do when I get back. The definitive LeBron James show. Wow. You remember you were growing up? I mean, most of you are in my wheelhouse, in my age group. Remember when we were growing up, I never thought I'd see another player as good as Dr. J. And then Michael Jordan came along, and I was like, come on, man. There's no way we're going to see anybody better than MJ. And I'm not ready to say that yet. But this kid is pretty good, man. LeBron James, LBJ, is pretty damn good. All right, don't go away. Keep it locked. We'll be back. The Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area, all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the #1 thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5electronicsinc.com. That's System5electronicsinc.com. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. We ain't never scared. This is a Wild Out Wednesday. And I'm about to read your chat, get your thoughts on Miss MJ Michael Jordan talk. I know it sounds crazy, man, but it's real. It's real, baby. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. But the easy way is just to jump in the chat on Spreaker.com. Man, we have a new sponsor. Primerica brings you this segment. In life, things happen good and bad, and being prepared is always important. Did you know that 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place in case of something happening, death, accidents? Primerica, man, is the only company that guarantees your children are true legacies, and what that means is when they turn 25, they'll have $500,000 in coverage automatically without a physical, and that means if anything happens to them health-wise, they are still guaranteed that. You won't find that anywhere, and it's one pre-minimum for all kids and not per kid. All right, so that's a real big selling point for Primerica, man. Check this out. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, call my guy, and he's a friend of mine as well, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. That's 678-439-7172. He's based here in Atlanta, but he can do deals anywhere in America except for Alaska and, what did he say, Alaska? And there was one other state in the continental U.S. of A. Once again, Greg Wynn is his name, and his number is 678-439-7172. And don't be part of the 95 million U.S. adults that don't have protection in place. Primerica. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Talking about LeBron James, where does he rank? If you had your choice to take one guy, him or Michael Jordan, who would that be? And once again, I know to a lot of people that adore Michael Jordan and think that he's the greatest player ever, which I still, all right, I can tell you it right now, I believe that I would still take Michael Jordan at this point. I just think the disparaging difference in titles, even though I don't count titles fully in the equation and the conversation about a player, I think 6-2 right now is just too big of a number. That being said, whether great teammates or not, if LeBron wins another one or two, and then you put everything in a pot and you mix it up with all the variables, I think that conversation and that discussion gets even more intense. Okay, but right now I think I would slightly still take Michael Jordan in that conversation. But what are your thoughts, man? There's a lot of people out there that already want to say LeBron James is the greatest basketball player ever, for some of the reasons that I talked about a little bit earlier. So I want to get your thoughts on that. The Atlanta Hawks, man, their season is done. They go 60-22 in the regular season. They get swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, once again, I've said it all year long. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. When the Hawks started winning, I said that if they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think that would be a great thing. I also said that I didn't think that they would beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals because of the experience and because of the talent level of LeBron James. I was right in that. I wish that I wasn't right. I didn't think that they would get blown out in the manner that they did, getting swept in the series. But that being said, I think the Hawks had a fantastic year in relative terms for the Atlanta Hawks. And the trials and tribulations this organization has been through ever since coming to the city of Atlanta from St. Louis. And so they had a great year. Now what do they do? What do they need to take that next step? And I think everybody is in agreement. I think everybody is in agreement that the Hawks have to get bigger. They have to address the center position. You have Pero Antich out there who really, I guess he was in Coach Budenholzer's doghouse. He really didn't play a lot in this series in particular. They just don't have size. Okay, they got the Muscala kid. He's young. I don't see him as being a centerpiece to an NBA championship team. All right, you got Paul Millsap and you got Al Horford. They're good, but they're power forwards, and they're really the same type player. So you have to get a center. I'm going to float this name out there to Atlanta Hawks fans and people in this city. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. All right, you know the NBA draft is coming up. The order has already been set. I think the Atlanta Hawks don't pick until 15th. Okay, so There's a lot of things that can happen. If you're talking about centers, you know Jahlil Okafor and Karl Anthony Towns are going to be 1 and 2. You know that. You know they're going to be 1 and 2, so they're going to be off the board, and those are the premier centers. What do you think about Frank Kaminsky? What do you think about him? I mean, he's listed as a center, and he has kind of like that European-type game, like Dirk Nowitzki, where he shoots threes. But he's a big body as well, listed at 7 foot tall. At the 15th pick, maybe he's still around. Maybe the Hawks try to move up a piece, a pick or two, and maybe they go after Frank Kaminsky. What do you think about that, the center for Wisconsin? Because they got to do something about the center position, and there's not a lot of them out there. And I remember this year when the Cleveland Cavaliers, they made some excellent moves, man. Ball award to them and to LeBron James for these moves that they made the entire season. When they picked up Timothy Mozgov, that was a huge deal. You remember OKC picked up Enes Kanter this year as well. So there's not a lot of great centers, and those guys aren't great, but they're big bodies, they're solid, they get you rebounds, they're space eaters, okay? So there's not a lot of those guys out there. So the Hawks are probably going to have to draft a guy, and he's going to have to probably be prevalent in the conversation as far as starting for this team. The Miles Turner kid from Texas, he'll probably be gone, I believe. I believe he'll probably be gone. So then you're talking about Frank Kaminsky. What are your thoughts? If you're a Hawks fan, what are your thoughts about Frank Kaminsky being an Atlanta Hawk? What do they need to do? Is there a free agent out there that I'm missing that could come in and help this team right now? What? What do they do? The next step, the progression. You got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run. I think the Hawks made great strides this year, but they have to add a centerpiece, okay? Literally and figuratively. They have to add a center to this team to take it to that next level. I like everything else, really. I mean, really, I like everything else. If you can re-sign Carroll, if you can re-sign Korver, if you can see what's going on with Korver with the injury situation in this series, which occurred by that punk-ass Dellavedova, the Hawks got something to build upon. They got a lot to build upon, man. I don't know why they don't play John Jenkins. I don't know why they don't play Scott Moore. Jenkins got in the game last night. He hit a couple of threes. I don't know what's going on. Sheldon Mack seems like that he's in and out. Like last night, Sheldon Mack played more than Schroeder. Like, I don't know what's going on with the lineups. I don't know if these guys are getting in Coach Bud's doghouse or what. But guys that seemingly, from a naked eye, from a very big, staunch NBA fan, I would call myself, we just don't get it. We don't get why Scott doesn't come off the bench. He never gets any minutes. Why we don't see John Jenkins, how Sheldon Mack comes in last night and plays more minutes than Dennis Schroeder. What's going on in the locker room for the Atlanta Hawks? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. And I lied. I said we talk, or I'd read your chat when we got back. I mean, this is why we need a third hour. This is why we need a third hour. There's just so much stuff to get to. At some point, we got to do birthdays. We're not going to do it in the next segment. I promise you, if my name ain't Fred, we're going to talk and read chat about LeBron James, Michael Jordan comparisons. Okay? And at some point in the show, I got to also talk to you about, something that's always ignored whenever this Jordan-LeBron conversation comes up. So stay tuned for that. All right? Chat! That's all I'm going to do when we get back from the break is read chat. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. System 5 Electronics is proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's just a few reasons to choose System 5. Not only is their monitoring station located here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, You own your security alarm system once it's installed. Not only have they been around for almost 25 years, but their customer service is excellent. And you get direct access to the owner, Mr. Maceo Brown, to resolve any issues with your alarm system. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736. And make sure and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes!
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Just talk about that. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. And LeBron versus Jordan. What say you? And that's what we're talking about today. The Cleveland Cavaliers advance to the NBA championship. And right now, if Golden State makes it to the NBA Finals, which we all expect, they would be the favorite against Cleveland in this series. But you got a couple of things going against you if you're the Golden State Warriors, and number one is LeBron James. Yeah, so he's kind of like the X factor. I think the Golden State's probably the better team if they were to meet up in the finals. Matter of fact, I think Golden State's the definitive better team in the way that they play team basketball and the great talent that they have on that team. But, I mean, LeBron James, man, I mean, in effect, he's willed his team to some of these victories in the playoffs, and they are on fire right now. This segment is brought to you by System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as little as $16.50 per month. All right. Once they install your security alarm system, you own it. They've been around for over 25 years. And if you've ever got a problem with your security alarm system, ask to speak to the owner. His name is Mr. Maceo Brown. That's right. Maceo Brown. Yeah, they've got all the latest and greatest gadgets. If you call them and let them know that the Doug Stewart Show sent you, and you get a Smart Solutions package, you'll get a free driveway probe. And what that does is whenever someone drives into your yard, it alerts you. It sends you a picture or video to your smartphone. laptop, whatever the device may be. All right, so you're always in the know in protecting your house and your family. All right, so give them a call at 404-756-0736, or just check them out online. Just type in their web address right now, System5, the number 5, electronicsinc.com. Let me read some of this chat here. Once again, thank you for being patient. There's a lot to get out today and talking about this stuff. In about 15 minutes, man, we're going to talk about something people always miss in talking about this LeBron James and Michael Jordan conversation. From Gridiron Assassin, hell no, MJ all day. From William Mack on Spreaker.com. Frank, I don't disagree with your statement. Just a disclaimer on the first sentence, laugh out loud. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. Sluggo, anyone notice how much energy LeBron had last night after a blowout win versus 48 hours earlier? Stop trying to channel your inner Jordan. Hashtag clown move. And I agree with that. If you listen to the show on yesterday, I mentioned how, and actually I think we put him on the list for boiled peanuts as well. I mentioned how LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, they've done this thing where they've been sick and they've tried to remake the famous Michael Jordan flu game. and there's all this stuff out there and showing Kobe and he mimics Michael Jordan's moves. These guys grew up idolizing Michael Jordan. And so I think even subconsciously, LeBron James pulled that crap the other day as far as being sick. He played with great energy the entire 48 minutes in Game 3, and then when the game was over, he dropped down to his knees like he was dying. They had mentioned something about he was sick before the game. Stop it, man. Just sit your ass down somewhere. From Andre Elam, LBJ is not better than MJ. I don't care how many finals in a row he goes to in a row. Right now, once again, as I mentioned earlier, I do believe that the wins in championship rings is too much of a disparity in conversation when you talk about MJ versus LeBron James. 6-2, that's a big gap. But a couple of more, man. I don't know what more you can do to dispute this guy's greatness. From Chucktown Frank, I like Dirty D. He plays Chucktown Park ball. Come on, Dougie. This dude is playing the correct way. What? The basketball is supposed to be played, and Danny Ainge is one of the greatest Anglo-Saxon Protestants to grace the garden. And you know what the greatest Anglo is Larry Bird. So Chucktown Frank, man, he's obviously a Boston Celtics fan. I disagree with you. From Miss Mocha Bella, calm down, Doug. Eddie Mo 2.0, Doug sounds like Martin's mom. I can't stand that Hefagina. When I went off earlier on Della Vadova. 9-0 the Rhino. Cavs would be a lottery team without LeBron. That's true. I don't know if they'd probably be a lottery team. I mean, that's just real. They probably, even if they had made the moves of bringing in Timothy Mozgov and J.R. Smith and Amon Shumpert, would they still be a lottery team? I don't know if they would have even made the moves if they didn't have LeBron James. So they probably wouldn't have even made those moves. They probably wouldn't have had Kevin Love either because, let's be honest, they made those moves because they had LeBron James. Kevin Love came to Cleveland because of LeBron James. I don't know. That's a real tough question. That's a real hard way to look at it. From Chico the Alpha, laugh out loud, this ninja's lost his mind. Booster, take Doug out of the room for a minute with a paper bag. J-Rob, laugh out loud, breathe Doug. William Mack, waiting for Tree to chime in with Ride Raw any second. Max Jones III, quit hating Doug, sweep. I guess Max Jones III is a Cleveland Cavaliers fan or a Matthew Dellavedova fan. I didn't know they even made those. Morano Cameron, Cavs was playing chess and ATL was playing checkers. Brian Lucas, Scottie Pippen is the most overrated ninja of all time. Ooh. I've heard some people say that, but I disagree with that. Without Jordan, he's just a two-time All-Star with no rings. MJ would have had 8 rings if he didn't get bored of winning. Now, that's a very good point that I think people forget. And once again, it's not all about rings. It's not all about titles. Some of the greatest players of all times don't have rings. We know that. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Charles Barkley. It's not all about rings. Rings are important, but it's not all about rings. But, yeah, people forget whenever they talk about Michael Jordan that truthfully, and with all likelihood, if he didn't quit basketball for a couple of years to chase some childhood dream of being a baseball player, they probably would have had those 2 rings, and the Houston Rockets wouldn't have. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be truthful. So then you're talking about 8 rings in a row? I mean, that's solid as hell. I mean, let's be honest. I'm honest all the way around. In this conversation about LeBron James, I'm trying to be as honest as I can and non-biased as I can, being a Laker fan and a fan of Michael Jordan. But also let's add into this equation as well that Michael Jordan really just pissed away 2 rings because for whatever reason, whether it was gambling, whether he was going through some type of midlife crisis, the man left to play basketball or baseball. I mean, who does that? And it's still incredible even talking about it today. But that's what happened. Chances are they would have had 2 more rings. Sorry, Houston Rockets fans. I'm sorry. Brum McDowell. If Bron wins this year, he will be the first superstar to do it with virtually no help in the postseason. No Kyrie nor Kevin Love. Now, Kyrie played last night, but he's not 100%. He's not the Kyrie Irving that's gone for 50 points a couple of times in his career. He's not that this year or this playoffs. He's just not. From Harvey Scott. You're right, Doug. Not all about the rings. If it was, then Bill Russell and Robert Horry would be considered the best. They both have more than Jordan. That's a very good point. And now, I'm about to offend some people, but this is what I do. I keep it real. If you've listened to me before, I am very, for lack of a better term, critical of Bill Russell. I just am. Different era. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. What does he have? 11 rings. Didn't they go win like 9 championships in a row with the Boston Celtics? Bill Russell's a fantastic player, but Bill Russell is never, with all those rings, he's never considered the greatest basketball player of all time. I guess some people do from the Boston area. Some people that are fans of Bill Russell, maybe his cousins or whatnot, but the conversation is always about Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson for the most part, now LeBron James. But it's not Bill Russell. I mean, Bill Russell is a fantastic player, but, I mean, come on, man. Let's just be honest about it. I don't want to get into negative and throwing mud on Bill Russell, the great Bill Russell, the humanitarian Bill Russell. Let's just leave it at that. I don't think Bill Russell is talked about seriously as far as greatest basketball players of all time, even though his resume says that he was damn good. Mitchell, LeBron is not in the top 5 GOAT players, greatest of all time players. Sir, you are drunk. From K3000. Jordan, best player all time. Bill Russell, best champion of all times. That's 2 different categories. Who do we got here? From Andre Elam. Is it just me, but the new age ballers just don't give the props the old school ballers get? Yeah, because the people that are talking about sports, and this is how I try to separate myself and my opinions about it. I try to take myself out of the equation and my thoughts about what I saw growing up. Because let's be honest, we wax poetic about, yesteryear in the days when we were growing up, okay? And you have people tell you that Bill Russell was the greatest player of all time. And you have people tell you that Oscar Robertson was the greatest player of all time. But let's keep it real. It was a different game back then. The influence of black players in the NBA during the 60s and the 50s is minuscule in comparison to right now. Let's just be honest. Same comparison, same conversation you could have about baseball before Jackie Robinson got into baseball. So it's a different game, much more athletic, much better physical specimens playing the game today. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I just don't think so. From Niner for Life, does any player go ahead up against their defender, or does everybody come off picks to create mismatches? Yeah. Nobody gets to the basket like LeBron James. I mean, there's very few. With the size and the physical strength that the dude has, I mean, it's something to be considered. I mean, it's as simple as that. From Vince Wright, for this year, if Cleveland wins with a handful of so-so players, missing Kyrie for half the season or the past series says a lot about LeBron. One of the best passes I've seen also. I mentioned that earlier. LeBron is unique in the fact that he's kind of like a hybrid of Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. He can score, he can pass, he does every single thing everything well. Is there anything that Michael Jordan didn't do well? Probably not. But to the degree of LeBron James as far as passing the basketball, no. You give the edge as far as passing and vision on the floor, you got to give that to LeBron. You got to give that to LeBron, man. From James Cooper, Doug, you are making sense. Ronald Cameron, LeBron needs to continue playing point forward in order to beat Golden State. I just don't see them beating Golden State, man. And this is going to become a knock in history if LeBron James continues to go to these championships but doesn't win rings. So he's got to win a couple more rings. I've said that. He's got to win a couple more rings. I don't see them winning one this year, though. No, I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't see them winning an NBA championship this year. Is there another piece they can add? And then you're talking about, you know, how many more years LeBron James has at this level? I don't know, 3, maybe 4 at this level? I don't know. When we get back from the break, man, hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show, we'll continue the conversation. And I'll tell you something that's always missed in this LeBron versus MJ conversation. Don't go away. System 5 Electronics is proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's just a few reasons to choose System 5. Not only is their monitoring station located here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, you own your security alarm system once it's installed. Not only have they been around for almost 25 years, but their customer service is excellent. And you get direct access to the owner, Mr. Maceo Brown, to resolve any issues with your alarm system. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736. And make sure and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com, America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. In life, things happen, good and bad, and being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and #1 independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! If you're not stewing, what the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. LeBron versus Jordan, what say you? I'm going to read more of your chat here in a second, man. But all day long, we've been talking about LeBron James and his greatness. And, I mean, he is great. There's no denying that. So I want to get your thoughts, LeBron versus MJ in their heydays. Which one are you taking and why? Looking at these guys in their careers. LeBron James, all defensive team 5 times. Michael Jordan 9 times. That's a constant variable, and you're talking about the greatest players of all times. They play great on both ends of the court. So LeBron's been all defensive first team 5 times. Michael Jordan's 9 times. Scoring leaders. Here's a big difference in the argument for Michael Jordan compared to LeBron James. And it's I don't know, take with it what you want. Michael Jordan's led the league in scoring 10 times. All right. LeBron James has only done it once. Now, the difference is, and clearly the obvious difference is, LeBron James is more of a facilitator. We talked about that in the last segment. So he doesn't really look to be a scorer. So when you've got guys like Kobe Bryant, bookmark that name for a second. When you got guys playing in the league like Kobe Bryant and Kevin Durant, which their main focus is scoring the basketball, and Carmelo Anthony and guys like that, you're not going to be scoring leader. I don't think LeBron James really cared about being scoring leader. I mean, am I wrong about that? Because I think that if he wanted to, if he just took shots, if he was a volume shooter, if he was a guy that put less stock into getting his teammates involved, I think that he probably could lead the league in scoring every year. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. But that's just not his mentality. So that stat is kind of skewed, in my opinion, 10 times to 1. But ultimately, a lot of people at the end of the day are going to look at scoring leaders and who scores the basketball. Michael Jordan was steals leader 3 times in the NBA. LeBron James has never done that. Points per game. Michael Jordan averaged 30.1 points per game for his career. Right now, LeBron James is at 27.3. LeBron was a better rebounder at 7.1 per game and 6.2 for Michael Jordan. Assists per game, not as big a difference as you would think. LeBron James is averaging 6.9 assists per game and Michael Jordan 5.3 points per game. Blocks per game, they're both at 0.8. And then Michael Jordan, 32,292 points at the time of this publication in which I'm looking at right now of these stats. And I think these might be current. LeBron James has around 24,913 points for his career. So what are your thoughts on these two players, man? Here's something I wanted to mention. That's something that people always miss whenever they start talking about this. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or LeBron James conversation is Kobe Bryant. And I know there's a lot of hate and disdain out there for Kobe Bryant, but I think Kobe Bryant is well deserving to be in this conversation. And it seems like whenever LeBron does something, people just totally forget. Like the narrative today on the Puppet Factory and everywhere else is, and I guess I'm falling into it myself, but I wanted to make sure and mention this, is LeBron, MJ. What about the Bean? What about Vino? What about the Black Mamba, who has 5 rings himself, who scored 81 points in a basketball game, who outside of Michael Jordan, and now talking about LeBron James, is probably the best player that we've seen in the last 25 years. Going back to the beginning of Michael Jordan's career in 83, 84. So the conversation should be, in my opinion, it should be LeBron, MJ, but it also should be Kobe Bryant, and then you can probably sprinkle in Magic Johnson as well, because Magic Johnson did all of these fantastic things as well. He had 5 rings himself. He was the consummate floor leader, but he wasn't the scorer. I don't think his skill set outside of passing is comparable to those other 3 guys. Magic Johnson was a fantastic player, and if you were starting a team, you might want to take Magic Johnson maybe before you take a couple of these other guys we're talking about. But skill set, the total skill set, we're talking scoring, we're talking passing, we're talking defense, we're talking the whole kit and caboodle. That's 3 guys. It should be 3 guys, not just 2. All right? LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and the Bean, Kobe Bean Bryant. Yes, sir. Maybe you take Kobe before you take LeBron. And today the narrative and the conversation is about LeBron and MJ because of what LeBron did last night in Kobe's home, going fishing or whatnot. I understand that. But I just wanted to make sure and mention the Bean in this conversation, the greatest players ever since Michael Jordan got into the league. Okay? Kobe's got 5 rings. And then people always say, well, he had Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, he had Shaq for 3 of them. Okay? And don't act like Shaq was the dominant guy on those teams. If Shaq didn't have Kobe, they wouldn't have won those first 3 rings. And vice versa. I acknowledge that. But don't forget, Kobe won 2 more rings with a bunch of fish heads and rice players as well. That's what I would call them. Yeah. Guys that weren't of that level of the comparable guys and Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc. He had some solid players around him. Pau Gasol was a solid player. Pau Gasol ain't no Hall of Fame type player, I don't believe. And Pau Gasol ain't that type player, no. He had Pau Gasol, who he had, Ron Artest. He had some decent players, some very good players. But Kobe Bryant's the reason that they won those second set of rings for the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Let me read some of this chat, man. Y'all have been patient. Very patient. From GSU Free, when Mike left the Bulls, they made the playoffs with Scottie Pippen. I mentioned that earlier. From K3000, you have lost your mind. Jordan had to make it through Detroit. Look at the obstacles that Jordan had to go through and LeBron has to go through Atlanta. This is a down year. I will acknowledge that. This is a down year, seemingly, as far as Eastern Conference foes for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who they beat. The Atlanta Hawks, some people are saying the most overrated, the most underwhelming first seed in the Eastern Conference Finals in basketball ever. And then they beat the Chicago Bulls, who have had some injury issues this year, some chemistry issues. I don't know about that. I think that we wax poetic about yesteryear. There's some great teams out there today. There's some fantastic talent out there today in the NBA. Now, I will acknowledge that the game was tougher back then because of some of the rules and the changing of rules in this day and time. But as far as player and level of competition, I mean, there's fantastic players, man. You look at that Wizards team. You look at that Portland team. You talk about Dallas. You talk about there's a lot of great players and talent in the NBA. All right? Some people will argue that Michael Jordan, during his run, during his reign, there were a couple of teams that came into the NBA that kind of watered the league down. And talking about Charlotte and Miami. I don't know. It's all on how you look at it. From Fred Mack. When LeBron loses in the finals this year, he'll be 2-5 in the finals. Not sure Jordan or Kobe records in the finals. Well, Michael Jordan never lost in the finals. We know that. Kobe did lose in the finals maybe twice. I want to think twice, or maybe it's once. I know the last run that they had with Shaquille O'Neal, they lost. And they definitely lost, or did they lose one time against the Boston Celtics? Yeah, I believe they lost twice in the finals with Kobe Bryant. From J-Rob, LBJ don't have that killer instinct like Magic or Jordan. And stop it, Doug. Look at those triple-double stats in the playoffs by Magic. He ranks number 1, and didn't Magic play center for his first title when Kareem couldn't go? And was that his rookie year? So stop it, Doug. Those are very true points. In his rookie year, Magic Johnson played center. I think he had 41 points in the NBA Finals for the Los Angeles Lakers. Once again, Magic Johnson is in the conversation as far as guys you would like to start your team with. I guess what I'm looking at today in this conversation is skill set, total skill set. Magic Johnson couldn't shoot the basketball like these guys. I mean, let's be real. Magic Johnson wasn't the athlete that these 3 guys that I'm talking about was. He wasn't. Magic Johnson it seemed like he barely could get off the floor. And I'm a Magic fan, obviously. I love Magic Johnson. But athletically and skill-wise, Magic Johnson wasn't like Kobe, LeBron, and MJ. He just wasn't. Would you start your team with Magic over those other guys? Once again, maybe. That's in the conversation. I might take Magic before I take any of these other guys to start my franchise with. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. Yeah. I might take Magic before I take any of these other guys to start my franchise with. I'm acknowledging that. I guess what we're talking about is skill set and the player. All right? The player. What he can do on the court. And these 3 guys, and I'm saying 3 now, I've added Kobe into the conversation. These 3 guys can do it all, everything, and they're phenomenal athletes as well. And talking about these three guys. From DC Cavalier, don't leave out where Miami was when LeBron arrived, and they are now when he left. I mentioned that earlier. It's been a roller coaster for the Miami Heat. All right, this is what I'm going to do. And I promise, and this is where we can do a third hour. We're still working on it. And you can donate to the Doug Stewart Show and try to make that happen right now at thedougstewartshow.com. Yes, just hit the little donate button. Anything over $20, we'll send you a T-shirt. Donate to the Doug Stewart Show on thedougstewartshow.com. We would appreciate it. $20 or more, we'll send you a T-shirt. When we get back, all I'm going to do is read chat. We'll do the birthdays at some point. We'll do the birthdays quickly, and then we'll do chat, all right? Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes... You've been thinking about starting that online store, right? And you do know e-commerce makes billions a year. That's right. I said billions with a B, okay? A B. Well, just do it and do it right with my friends at AmeriCommerce. AmeriCommerce is an easy-to-use tool to sell anything online, on Facebook, and through mobile phones. Over 100,000 merchants and website owners have chosen AmeriCommerce to handle their stores and customers. They have the most in-depth features in the industry, which include multiple storefronts, website management from one console, a Facebook shopping application, a mobilized, optimized website, and much more. Don't let eBay, Amazon, and Zappos get all the money. Get your piece of the pie, too. Click on their banner link on thedougstewartshow.com or the app link for more details. First of all, thank you for listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on The Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. The world's heavyweight champion of sports talk radio. This is the Doug Stewart Show. And thank you for joining your boy. Yeah, let me do these birthdays, man. Talking about MJ versus LeBron versus Kobe Bryant. Yeah, that's right. I've added that in. I've added Kobe in. On Spreaker.com, hit your boy up in the chat room. And I'm going to read more chat in this segment. That's all I'm going to do. The Cleveland Cavaliers do advance, and they go to the NBA Finals. Congratulations to them. Ball award to them. This segment is brought to you by Ticket Liquidator. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers to give you the opportunity to attend the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Tickets, the goal of Ticket Liquidator is to bring you better service and lower prices so that you can witness the best in the world of entertainment, culture, and sports. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call them up at 3034. Once again, that's 855-638-3034. And make sure and tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Today, as far as birthdays, happy birthday to, who do we got here? Todd Bridges. Willis from Different Strokes is 50 years old today. I hate to see a birthday like that, man, because it makes me feel old as hell. But Willis from Different Strokes, a.k.a. Todd Bridges, is 50 years old today, or vice versa. Jadakiss, the rapper, is 40 years old today. Happy birthday to him. Louis Gossett Jr. turned 79 years old today. What did he play? Chicken George? I think his character was Chicken George on Roots from back in the day. So he turned 79 years old today. Happy birthday to him. And,
no.
Huh?
No, he wasn't Chicken George.
Who was he? Oh, Fiddler. He was Fiddler, right?
Yes. I think James Evans was Chicken George.
Okay, wait a minute. Chicken George.
No, Ben Vereen. Ben Vereen.
That's right. Ben Vereen was Chicken George. How dare I? Come on. You got to get Roots right. And that was Tree that just joined us just now, my producer on the Doug Stewart Show. And also today is this guy's birthday.
Here in London for the first time to perform for you live, Johnny Vulture, Benjamin Andre, Dookie on drums, Possum Jenkins, and Andre Ice Cold 3000. Performing their smash hit, Hey Ya! Ladies and gents, I give you the love below.
Hey, y'all notice my favorite Outkast song of all time? Well, technically it's not Outkast. It's Dre 3000. Thank God for Mama Damn and
So every day.
So Andre 3000 is 40 years old today. Happy birthday to Dre 3000.
I ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't hear you.
Every day?
Something's wrong with your microphone. Something's wrong with your microphone, Trey. I can't.
Every day?
You're going in and out. Andre 3000 is 40 years old today. Happy birthday to him, man. What's his name? Andre Benjamin? That's right. Man got two first names. Probably the greatest rapper from Atlanta. I mean, if you did a list and you did top 5, top 10 rappers from ATL, Andre 3000 would most definitely be number one. I mean, I don't think there's any disputing that. Let me read more of your chat messages here on the Doug Stewart Show. From Miss Mocha Bella, weren't the Hawks the number one seed in the playoffs in the East? What happened? ATL ho. Okay, hashtag ATL ho. I get it. But where's your team at, Mocha Bella? Punk-ass Miami Heat. Fake-ass Heat fans. Now, you're not a fake Heat fan, but, a lot of your Heat fan brethren were. From Fred Mack, I can't stand a 7-footer shooting threes. Hate it, hate it, hate it. And talking about Frank Kaminsky, I guess, from a little bit earlier. From Andre Elam, T need to work on his jumper all summer long. I like Schroeder, and I've mentioned that a lot. I like to see Schroeder get more run. I like Jeff Teague as well, but I really think that Dennis Schroeder got some upside on him, man. I think that he can really help this team or any team going forward when he gets more experience. From J-Rob, I'm a Wisconsin fan. Kaminsky is a stretch 4 with some low post moves. Schroeder is not consistent, and Mack was doing pretty well. Some inconsistency about Sheldon Mack. Sometimes he doesn't even touch the floor. And then last night, he gets all these minutes, man, and Dennis Schroeder doesn't. I don't know what's going on. Slugger, Coach Bud was placed on my BPA watch list after the Wizards series. No real adjustments made. Remember, Coach Bud is young in this thing. He's very young. From that ninja, wait a minute, dude from Wisconsin? Huh? From Fred Mack, Doug said he listed as a center. Any 7-footer should be listed as center. If not, BPA, 90 the Rhino. I'm talking about Frank Kaminsky, and he is a stretch four. He's a guy, he's more so of a guy that can stretch the floor. He can shoot three-pointers, but he's a big body, and he's 7 foot tall. And, that kind of fits into what's going on right now in the NBA, where you've got all this emphasis on shooting. So I don't know, man. I'm just looking at the point in the draft and where the Hawks are going to draft. They aren't going to get Karl Anthony Towns. They aren't going to get Jahlil Okafor. So at the point in which they draft, you got to start trying to figure something out for this center position. You cannot come back into next season without addressing that center position. From Real People Music, I don't understand what y'all want him to say. The Hawks got swept, and according to most of y'all, this was a foregone conclusion. What is there to talk about? That bullshiggity about them being the worst number 1 seed ever? The Hawks are not the first team to get swept in the final, and damn sure won't be the last. Somebody got to lose, and losing to the so-called greatest player on the planet, it is what it is. Y'all just trying to pour salt in the wounds. I hate that people are doing that, pouring salt into the wounds, but it's a real big-ass wound to get swept. And you have the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals. I kind of get both sides of it, but the Hawks will be back. King B50, remember John Koncak, Fatboy McCoon, and I guess he's comparing Koncak to Frank Kaminsky. Fatboy McCoon, I think San Antonio is going to get Kaminsky and try to mold him from Duncan, in my opinion. Vince Wright Kaminsky could work in Atlanta. Montana Jones, ATL can't do a damn thing as long as the King is in the East. Kaminsky's a bum. He's only good for 6 fouls. Damn. I won't agree with that. Sluggo. Ferry got all the credit for the regular season success, but I have yet to hear him blamed for that thorny switch the Cavs put on our asses. And talking about Danny Ferry, the GM for the Atlanta Hawks. From Thad Harris, Kaminsky is soft as butter. Mr. GQ, BPA to Ray McDonald. Andre Elam, the Hawks are not tough. Tristan Thompson punked the Hawks with his energy and toughness. I disagree with that. I think that Al Horford is just as tough or tougher than Tristan Thompson. I think that Al is playing out of position a lot of times. They got him playing the center position a lot of times, and that's just not the position that he should be playing at this level. He's been playing center and listed as center for the Atlanta Hawks for many, many years. Al Horford is a power forward. In relative terms, in comparison to Tristan Thompson and Al Horford is just as tough as Tristan Thompson, in my opinion. From Cleotis, let's be honest, absolutely no one is greater than Jordan. He changed the entire game. How did he change the game? I understand what you're saying. In what way did Michael Jordan change the game? I'm trying to figure that statement out. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just need some more details on what you're referring to. People were dunking the basketball before Michael Jordan, like I said earlier. I mean, I never thought I'd see another Dr. J. Everything that Magic or Michael Jordan did, Dr. J did. Every single thing. Going back to jumping from the free throw line and dunking the basketball in a slam dunk competition. Did he do it with more style and pizzazz? Probably. But, I mean, he didn't reinvent the wheel. From Grego, Kaminsky's footwork is crazy. He does have fantastic footwork. From Eugene Jackson, Atlanta, Chicago will give you Noah for Horford. Sounds good to me. Ooh. Ooh. But then who's Chicago going to play at center? Who am I missing? I mean, that's not a deal. I don't think Chicago would do that. They actually like Joakim Noah. But I would actually love that deal for Atlanta. I mean, we do have a tradable piece in Millsap, and Millsap's a free agent. So if we could sign Millsap back, use him as some type of trade bait, so you got Millsap and Horford playing the same position, you got a logjam pretty much right there. You do have a valuable trade piece. Maybe add a pick to get a top-tier center to add to this team. So the Hawks have some options, and it is mainly because they do have two of the same type of player that play the same type of game, in my opinion, in talking about Millsap and Al Horford. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. When we get back from the break, we are going to talk more about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I'm going to read more of your chat. Man, Cavaliers going to the championship. Did you even think that this was possible based on some of their struggles this year? One of my friends was telling me the other day, he was like, really, or maybe it was somebody in the chat room. I'm confused now. I can't remember. Everything really flipped. I mean, somebody hit a switch for the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron James came back from that 2-week hiatus in Miami. Like, what did he go down there and do? And my boy is speculating that he went down there, or whoever it was in the chat room, speculating that he went down there and saw some of A-Rod's peoples. I don't want to believe that. But yeah, dude came back from Miami for those 2 weeks, re-energized. And the Cleveland Cavaliers from that point on went on a tear. And a tear that led them all the way to the NBA Finals. Don't go away, the Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes!
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the #1 thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, you own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736. 0736 or online at System5electronicsinc.com. That's System5electronicsinc.com. Look at all of this chat. It's crazy. Man, people feel some type of way about basketball, man. You want to get a argument started up at the barbershop? Talk about the greatest basketball player of all time. Talk about the greatest basketball player of all time, and just throw out names like LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. People get pissed off, man. People are real passionate about their hoops. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Yeah, you go to the barbershop, start talking about greatest basketball player of all time and greatest rapper of all time, and you got to fight. You got to fight. I mean, dudes will literally start scrapping. Very passionate subjects. Let me read more of your chat here. We're talking about MJ versus LeBron. You know, I don't think it's too early to have this conversation. 5 years ago, when LeBron won his first ring and his second ring, I thought it was idiocy, if that's a word. I thought it was crazy. I thought it was silly. But now, man, I mean, listen, I've come to reality and to the point where I think that the dude is one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. You know, accomplishments-wise, he doesn't measure up to Michael Jordan. That's obvious, clearly. But just skill-wise, and would you take this guy and add him to your team? Now, who, if you had the opportunity, which one would you take? And I'm telling you, man, when LeBron leaves, your team starts to suck. When he comes to your team starts to do good. That's all I know. And we really haven't had the chance to do that comparison with Kobe or MJ because they always played with the same team. I guess you could kind of do it a little bit when MJ went to the Wizards, but he was at the end of his career, so I don't think that's a fair comparison. All I know, once again, is when LeBron leaves your team, you suck. And when he comes to your team, you suddenly make it to the playoffs, and more so than none, you make it to the NBA Finals. That's all that I know. Let me grab a call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart, what's that?
What up? T from Huntsville. What up, baby?
And enjoying the quickest 2 hours on radio as always, man. Holding down, chilling out, working and whatnot. I'd like to chime, well, not really on the topic, but what the topic brings me to thinking about.
Right.
If you don't mind, sir.
Go ahead.
All right, man. This narrative is being pushed. This is my problem with the four-letter network, which in my opinion is the Tea Party's answer to sports radio. The great thing, in my opinion, about sports is that it's truly a reality show. You get to sit back and watch what happens, and you really don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Despite all your predictions, despite all the stats. I never thought Minnesota was going to lose to Atlanta back in 99 or 2000, whatever year that was. Doug, I know you never thought the Celtics were going to beat the Lakers in the finals. I know you never thought Detroit was going to beat them. So, I mean, that's the great thing about sports is it's truly a reality show. You get to sit back and watch it develop.
Right.
But I think they do a disservice, meaning for their network, because what they want to do is push a narrative and make predictions and make themselves more important than the story. Push the narrative that you can't enjoy the sport without watching us. You have to watch us to get the full scoop. And in doing that, you take away from what you should be doing, which is commentating on what actually happened. And they don't do that anymore, for the most part.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The whole lame-ass MJ LeBron argument, okay, to me, it's lame as hell. And when you make a comparison with anybody, I think it's lame. Number one, okay, during dead radio time, maybe you can add that subject matter. You don't got nothing else to talk about. But right now, they're about to play the damn finals. Right now, is this the time to be having this silly-ass discussion? How, like, hey, Cleveland made it to the finals. Hey, Golden State, MVP versus the reigning best player in the world. Blah, blah, blah. You got a bunch of headlines. You got a lot of things to talk about. So why the hell are they talking about this?
Well, let me jump in here, and I definitely understand what you're saying. But I think the reason why it's become a conversation, and it's sports, is what we do. We talk about these type of things. The reason why I think it's become a conversation, man, is because it's kind of coming in clear on what this guy has done with the subpar teams 5 years in a row. This is the 5th year in a row. All right, he hadn't played the finals yet. They may lose the finals. Actually, I'm picking them to lose the finals. But this dude has taken 5 teams in a row to the NBA Finals, and that hadn't been done like the 60s. I saw the stat, read the stat somewhere this morning. So it's been a long, long time. You're talking 50 years since anybody's done that, and he's done it. So I think that's kind of why people are talking about this today, T.
I give you that. Okay, but if that's the case, they should be talking about that stat, his accomplishment, not trying to water it down by bringing up an MJ comparison, which he's never going to win because the media nowadays is completely different.
Why wouldn't he ever win an MJ comparison? If he wins 4 more rings, which is possible, I doubt it, but if he wins 4 more rings and has 6, why would you say the statement that he'll never be greater than MJ?
No, I'm not saying that personally. I don't really have an opinion because I think it's a lame-ass subject. What I'm saying is they're not going to push that because they're already deflecting. Instead of talking about what he's done, they're comparing him to MJ.
Gotcha.
That's what they do when they want to drag somebody down a little bit.
Gotcha.
I mean, in my opinion, I think they're not going to push that narrative. Plenty of people are going to think he's better, and a lot of people are never going to think anybody's better than MJ because he never really got ripped down in the media, ever, in his whole career. And I think for that reason, the majority, and by majority, I mean people don't have a lot of pigmentation, they're going to think MJ is the greatest. They're always going to hate LeBron for that little thing he did with Cleveland.
Yeah.
But let me say this right. The other thing, the other factor about that is the NBA is rigged. The NBA is slightly tainted. At the very least, there was a book written about it. Let me say this one more time. A book, literature, documentation that if he had lied in, he would have went back to federal prison. Guess what, folks? That means what he wrote in there was true. Core of officials, rigged games, have players they like, have players they dislike. That is not basketball. That's not sport. That's I like this ninja better ball. And when you factor that in with team sports, injuries, cheated, rigged officiating, trying to get through the season, dumb luck, too many litigating factors to say this guy's great because of rings or this guy's better. You don't know how the game is going to flow because they pick their stars, they manipulate the game, and if you watch it, it's obvious. It's not a conspiracy ninja. It's not reaching. It's not complaining. It's a damn fact. If you look at video and read a book that was documented on it. So for that reason alone, it's hard for me to listen to the conversation because I know this man has gotten calls from day one because they wanted to push his stardom. The same way they're pushing Stephon Curry now. They're both great players, but they help him along. And if you watch it, you'll see that.
Yeah.
Love the show, man. Love the talk. Even when it's rain, it's still great. I'm going.
Appreciate the call, T. That was a lot. And T called 443-820-338. He mentioned a couple of different things. Obviously, man, and I definitely agree with him with the Puppet Factory on ESPN pushing the narrative. That's what they do. And I've become so numb to it that it really I don't get my blood pressure up about it anymore. It is what it is. They're just like a machine. I mean, they're a monster right now. And got much love for ESPN. A lot of people that worked up there. Obviously, you know I was up there for many, many years doing TV. But I've always said this, even when I was going up there, is that they are very biased in a lot of their reporting. So I totally get them, get what T is saying about that. I totally agree about that. I disagree about the conversation about LeBron James right now happening as opposed to waiting until he wins another ring or whatever. This is what we do in sports talk. We don't wait to have these types of conversations until something happens in the barbershop. We don't. These are conversations that, I like this guy better than you. I mean, we used to do it as little kids. I like that car. I like that car. I want that red car, And so as older kids, dudes, this is what we do. All right? We have these conversations about the greatest this, the greatest that. I always do these top fives. I don't think it's out of order in a day after LeBron James takes the Cleveland Cavaliers to the NBA Finals. The Cavaliers hadn't won a championship in forever. The Cleveland sports hadn't won a championship since 1962 with the Cleveland Browns, with Jim Brown. I don't think it's out of order to talk about the greatness of LeBron James. And I said it earlier, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I said it earlier. I never thought in my lifetime that I'd see another player like Dr. J. And then, Michael Jordan came around. And then I thought, well, Michael Jordan's it. And then Kobe Bryant came along. And I said, damn, there's no way there could be another player like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. And then LeBron James came around. And so the game is always evolving, man, and we're always doing these comparisons. I don't have a problem with it at all. This is what we do in sports. We talk about sports. We talk about something, whether it be a question, a poll, or whatever. This is what we do when we talk sports. I don't have a problem with it at all. Now, a couple of years ago, I had a real problem with it because I thought it was a dumbass question. Not so much today in 2015 in LeBron versus MJ. Not too much. Yeah, because I'm real. I'm real about this, man. I mean, Kid is fantastic. The kid is fantastic. Officials cheating in the NBA? Yeah, I believe that happens. Are calls made to a biased degree for the superstars? I mean, come on, we know that. I think that kind of happens in every sport, though. Yeah, but do I think that there's some type of conspiracy with the NBA and the officials to rig games for certain teams to win? No. And even for certain players to get calls? Not necessarily, because if that were the case, the Lakers and the Knicks would win every single year if there was this conspiracy. So I don't believe that, T. I think you are kind of conspiracy ninja with that. You know? If it was up to the NBA, the freaking New York Knicks would have won another championship in the last 40 years, but they haven't. So I don't buy that. I just don't buy that. All right, don't go away. We get back, man. We'll wrap up today's show. Damn it, the show is gone already. Yes! The fastest show on turf. The Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. In life, things happen, good and bad. And being prepared is always important. If you're like me, a husband, a father, and protector of that family tree, then your family is the most important thing in the world. 95 million U.S. adults don't have protection in place. So, what I've done is put my protection in the hands of the largest and number one independent financial services company in North America, and that's Primerica. They look out for middle America because they believe that offering the most competitive premiums only benefits the client and have been doing so since 1977. If you're a parent, husband, or wife and want to discuss options with one of Primerica's top reps, then call my guy, Greg Wynn, at 678-439-7172. Again, that's 678-439-7172, and he'll put your family first. And hey, tell him that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! I don't like Johnny Gill. He took my spot on New Edition. One of my favorite songs of all time from New Edition is Can You Stand the Rain? So to pay ode to that famous song, man, I'm going to give you my little rendition of Can You Stand the Rain? On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. Ooh. When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? Then Ralph jumps in. 'Cause I need somebody who will stand. Shut up! Who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. She will always be right there. Hey, sunny days. Everybody has them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain? J-Rob, Tree, if you stop Doug singing, we will renege your BPA nomination. Huh? Buster, Doug, I see why you got kicked out of the Wait a minute. Back up, Jack. Shut up. Studio audience, y'all are out of control today. I mean, seriously, we're going to talk about this. We're going to have to take y'all into Larry's office after this show. That ninja, you just cracked my damn phone screen. What? Where's all of this coming from? Who's putting y'all up to say these things? Who's putting y'all... Okay, Tree, jump on for a second. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Did you prompt these people to say these nasty things to me on Spreaker.com?
You know what?
I mean, it's jealousy. Tree, we know that you sing. But you don't have to be the only person that can sing. Okay? I can see it. What do the kids call it? Hating? Is that what's going on here, Tree? Are you hating on Doug Stewart? Dirty Della.
Oh, my God.
Dirty Della. Oh. Dirty Della. Oh. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there, all right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! Okay, so Tree makes a commercial about my singing. Thank you, Tree! Thank you! Oh, man. My singing is an acquired taste. I get that. I mean, I'm so unique in the way that I spit those melodies. So, thank you, Tree. Thank you. Greatest producer in the world. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday, talking about LeBron versus MJ. The Cleveland Cavaliers go to the NBA Finals. The Cavaliers take on the Golden State Warriors. I'm sorry. This isn't a fairy tale. We got to remember that. And I don't like to be included in the conversation of people that are caught in the moment, just looking at the present time. As far as the conversation about prisoners of the moment is what they call it. But I think that it's appropriate to have this conversation about LeBron James. Now, I don't think they're going to beat the Golden State Warriors. I don't believe that's going to happen. I think Golden State is just too primed. And Golden State really, if they win it this year, which I see them doing, I don't see any reason why they won't, they may go on some type of historic run. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of factors. There's injuries that always come into play. But I think Golden State is set with the young talent they have on their team to make a run every year for the next, 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years. So we'll keep our eye on that. Let me read more of your chat here. Well, actually, let me take a call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart, what to do? John Fisher in the building, baby.
What up, John Fisher, man? Could you close your window for me, bruh?
Yeah, I just did. I'm going to make it quick so I know we're up against time.
Okay.
I think this discussion is ridiculous. LeBron hasn't even been in more finals than Kobe. We should be comparing Kobe to Jordan if anything. Not only has Jordan never lost the finals, he's never even gone to a Game 7, okay? The only 2 years that he didn't win the finals was the 2 years he took off to go play baseball. This is unbelievable. I can't believe we're having this discussion because, LeBron on 5 years in a row. Okay, that's cool. Buffalo went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. Does that make them the greatest runner-up ever?
Right.
No. Tree's been nominated for 8 BPAs. 6 of them came consecutively. She wins one. Does that make her the BPA Hall of Fame? No, it doesn't. So just because he's going to 5 in a row does not mean we should be comparing him to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. When it's go time, Michael Jordan always rose to the occasion, whether he was running 105 fever or whether he was just showing up and doing his thing. He would take your heart out of your throat. LeBron had to develop that. He was a time when he was the best player on Miami, and he acted like he didn't even know it. He was deferring Dwayne Wade. He defers too much. And I'm not saying that he's not great, but we talking about Michael Jordan, man, and I'm going to hear thoughts on that, and I'm gone.
Hold on. No, John Fisher.
Okay. I'm here.
Don't hang up. Let me ask you a couple questions, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Who's a better power forward? Is it Karl Malone, or is it Charles Oakley or Anthony Mason?
Karl Malone.
Karl Malone doesn't have any rings. Remember, earlier I talked about which player would you take skill-wise, taking out the whole rings and accomplishments. Just looking at the player, you're on the playground, you have your choice between these two guys. That's really the crux of the conversation today. Obviously, if you look at the numbers and you look at the accomplishments, Michael Jordan has 6, LeBron has 2. That's very easy. I'm talking about the player.
I'm still taking Jordan. You know why? Because one thing I know for sure, on the playground, if it's 15-point game, I can give him the ball and not have to worry about him passing to somebody in the corner who's going to shoot and maybe miss. He's going to go and take us to that promised land.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from LeBron because he has done that more recently in the present than he has in the past. But Jordan we've never had to worry about that from MJ.
Yeah. Appreciate the call, John. He called 404-382-0338. You still got a second or two to call in if you want. There's a stat, and I hate that I don't have it in front of me right now, There's a stat that LeBron James just passed with the three-pointer that he hit to beat the Chicago Bulls in what was it, Game 3 or Game 4? It wasn't Game 4. Or it might have been Game 4, but it wasn't to win the series. It wasn't the fourth game in the series win for the Cavs. When LeBron hit that three-pointer from that corner, there was a stat that was talked about as far as game-winning shots. LeBron James, I believe, had passed Michael Jordan all time. I believe that stat is correct. So I think, once again, we kind of wax poetic about yesteryear and about our guy growing up. I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be biased. The question that I asked was, which player are you taking? You know, you can't talk about accomplishments. If you talk about accomplishments, somebody said it earlier, if you're talking about accomplishments and you're talking about rings, then, you know, you take Robert Horry over Karl Malone or Charles Barkley. But you know that's silly. You see what I'm saying? You know that's silly. If you're talking about accomplishments, you take, I don't know, I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody in football. Somebody in football that has many rings compared to Dan Marino. I don't know, you take Brad Johnson. The Johnson that played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it might have been Brad Johnson. He has a ring. Dan Marino doesn't have a ring. Who's a better player? It's Dan Marino. All right, so I think you got to really be careful and try to remind people of what we're discussing. What we're discussing is how great of a player. I think that if you use simply this player has more rings than another guy, then it's easy to do. It's 2 + 2. It's easy math. I think you got to look a little bit deeper into the question that I'm asking today. And still, because of the killer attitude and because Michael Jordan wanted to rip your heart out, and I don't think LeBron has it to the degree that Michael Jordan had, and LeBron's grown in that area. He's definitely grown in that area. When LeBron lost games early in his career, I felt like that he didn't have that killer instinct like MJ and Kobe had or has. Over the last couple of years, you've seen him take it much more serious. You remember LeBron used to be dancing on the sideline and whatnot and had his teammates doing these little skits or whatever. And the guy doesn't even get on Twitter or Facebook during the postseason. I mean, it's all business. Ain't no fun and games. He is serious. He is turning into an assassin in front of our very eyes. I mean, that Game 3 that they won against the Hawks, I mean, LeBron didn't let them lose. He was not going to let them lose. And that's that type of attitude that you saw from Kobe Bryant, or you've seen from Kobe Bryant, and you saw from Michael Jordan throughout their careers. He's getting closer. Still taking Jordan. At the end of the day, I'm still taking Jordan. We're about to wrap up today's show. For the record, I am still taking Jordan. But, man, it's so slightly. Yes, sir! It's so slightly. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. The boy is pretty good. That's the understatement of a century, of a lifetime. He's pretty good. LBJ versus MJ. What say you? Hey, continue the conversation on Facebook on the Doug Stewart Show Facebook group page, as well as make sure you follow me on Twitter at the Doug Stewart Show. Yeah. Continue the conversation, man. Thank you so much to all of the Stewies for being totally interactive. And I got so much more great chat I could have read. We got to get that third hour, man. Donate to the show on thedougstewartshow.com. Hit the little donate button. $20 or more, I'll send you a T-shirt. The first run edition of the Doug Stewart Show T-shirt. So take advantage of that. Shouts out to the Tree of Life, my producer for the show. Thank you so much, Tree, for all that you do. Waterhead Walter, thank y'all. Dwayne Vasson, Gerald Oliveri, my engineers. Man, I appreciate everything that y'all do. I mean, y'all make this show happen. Thank you so much. We'll do it again tomorrow, Throwback Thursday, same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart channel. Pass the word. Tell one person for your boy. Peace.